Hello everyone. Welcome to the Cup, where you can. Sorry, I'm so put off by what's going on here. Hi everyone, welcome to the Cup, where you can come to us first to quench your thirst on all things reality, something like that. I'm Lewis. Where I am fully backing the free Yin Run campaign. Aneesa?
What am I? What am I?
A blanket.
No!
A, a sheet.
No!
I don't know.
A redhead. Hi, I'm Aneesa Long, and I am sleep deprived. And I am also backing the Free Union campaign.
It truly is a yin justice.
I see what you did there. That's good. That's good.
I'm surprised it took you that long to pick up on that. Hi everyone, welcome to the Cup. I was away for a week, but I'm back. Thank you to Logan and Aneesa for covering all bases. Big Brother week 2. We're now in week 3, pre-eviction. And there's been quite a lot that's happened in the last week. It's surprising how much we can pack into a week of Big Brother UK.
And we have it, and it's not even eviction yet.
It's not even eviction yet. So let's pick up where we left off. Eviction night. We had Zach and Henry facing the public vote to evict, and we lost Zach.
And right away, Dylan cooks.
Right away, Dylan cooks. But before all that, let's pick up where the episode actually picked up, in that we had chanting going on from the eviction crowd.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Of get Kerry out. Get Kerry out. Get Kerry out. Get Kerry out. Specifically, someone shouted, next week.
Next week.
Let's get our cast up. Which one do we need? Is it this one? There we go.
Oh
no, that clips them. That one. No.
We'll
definitely. We'll go with that one. No.
We'll go with the one where.
I don't like this one.
I don't like that. Okay. Anyways, yeah, get Kerry out.
How do we make ourselves bigger?
No idea. We'll work on it.
Definitely not that one. Definitely not that one.
Nope. Okay.
Yep. We'll just have to be small. Oh god, but it still clips the top. There we go.
No, it's gonna clip the top, but we have their names there.
Cool. Get Kerry out, get Kerry out. The reactions beyond. What I found so funny was that Hallie was the one that picked up on it. They're chanting "Get Kerry out." The person she tells, Kerry.
Then again, she was just sitting next to her, so
I know, but like that must be so this like.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know how audio like is in the actual like Big Brother house, Because I know a couple of them couldn't pick out like what they were saying.
I think if we could pick it out, they could.
Right. Because like Jordan couldn't pick it up. Carrie couldn't pick it up.
Mind you, there's so much different. Like you're in a certain headspace when you're in there.
That's
So
true.
you're all. It's like what Jenkins said. You're all trying to hear your own name or pick out your own name, and you're not even paying attention to what they're actually saying.
Right.
Um. So yeah, Olivia heard a few get Olivia outs.
I did
Um.
not hear that.
I personally didn't hear it because the Kerry chants were so fucking loud. So it might have been happening, but I didn't hear it
Right.
myself. Jordan. This is completely different. Jordan picked up on the fact that Matty kept on staring at him and told Trish.
I love these like combos between Jordan and Trish being like, oh, this is the update on my Big Brother love life kind of thing.
Right. So yeah, the get Kerry out, it felt very Channel 4 in a way, and that's a reference you won't understand. But it felt like Big Brother UK was finally back to how it used to be. The whole panto of it all, the get this person out, the booing, it felt great.
Like low key, I also enjoyed it when like it was in the US version.
Yeah,
And I'm sad that they like stopped that kind of thing because I
booing.
know
Yeah,
the whole like booing aspect of it.
mm-hmm.
I feel like it's needed.
We
Not that
need
I
booing.
wish for anyone to be booed.
No,
Actually,
not at all. But
well,
it's definitely a part. It's a part of the show.
it's a part of the
Like we
show.
can't pretend that we don't like people. If someone's genuinely villainy, we can't just. You can't expect me to cheer for people that I don't like, and
Right.
that's. So I feel like it's a part of the show. It's part of how it has always been, and if we have an opinion, we're gonna fucking say our opinion. Jordan and Henry. I'm just going. I broke every episode down based on what I think we could talk about. Jordan and Henry had a pep talk after this whole get carry out shit. They went to the storeroom, tried to get into the storeroom. Storeroom was locked, so they had this conversation just outside of the storeroom, basically saying that they had picked up on the get carry out stuff.
Yeah.
And that they need to be more conscious and aware of themselves and the people that might be having conversations behind their backs and stuff. They don't see, like, I think it was Jordan, or it was either Jordan, well, it was one of the two, Jordan or Henry, that's mentioned that, they don't see everything.
Exactly.
And
I think there was a conversation afterwards, and you're probably going to get to it as well, but I believe there was a conversation with like Tom. I remember Tom being in that conversation.
Yeah, I did
and
write
I'm
this
surprised I acknowledged him, but Tom was in that conversation and was kind of the one that brought up that point of like, oh,
well, it's Tom and Jenkin. If you're talking about the one in the garden,
yes,
Tom and Jenkin.
Because I remember Tom brought up the point of like, oh, they probably know something we don't. We gotta be careful as well.
Well, what Tom said was, like, he likes Kerry and he isn't going to change that because of the chanting. So he's saying he's not playing into what the audience is saying. He's going off his own judgment. But he did say that he thinks Kerry does overreact, and he did say that she defends Hallie too much, and he gets very aggravated by Hallie. He did mention that he thought that Kerry played up for the cameras.
A bit. I do notice a big, like, if there's anyone who I would think of when I think of like duality, like Carrie probably has the most exaggerated case of like that duality.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Some could argue like Jordan as well, but like with Jordan it's a different case.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, Jordan, We'll get
Jordan
to Jordan. I've
We'll get
got a
to
lot
Jordan,
to
but
say
Jordan
about
has
Jordan.
layers. Jordan has a
Jordan,
lot of layers.
Jordan has layers, and it feels like he adds more layers onto himself. Um, every
The more he
time.
realizes he's taking off some layers, the more
The
he's
more
gonna.
he adds more layers on top of it, just to, yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Let's get to the kitchen.
Dylan's cooking,
Dylan is cooking.
but Trish wants to cook something for herself.
Yeah, Trish wanted to. Well, Trish wanted. So Trish was making a sausage sandwich,
Yes.
and Dylan was like, "Well, if you're gonna have a sausage sandwich, then I'm not gonna make. Well, it's not that it wasn't making chicken for you, for her. It's like, it came off like he said that, but
It
I think
came
his
off.
intention was very different to how it came out.
Yeah.
Like what he was trying to say was not what he said.
Yes. I think it wasn't on how I perceived it wasn't on what he said, it was how he said it.
Exactly. Yeah. So
And
there's
there's
this.
another case of that later on
Yeah.
in the week. But yes.
I mean, he just lost Zach, and people were mentioning that. But then again, also Trish was close with Zach as well. And then, like, some of the things he was saying about Trish, I mean, it comes up again later on in the week. But some of the stuff he says about Trish, which she does mention that later on in, I'll bring it up again. But the whole
Aggressive, loud.
stereotyping,
Yeah.
and it's that kind of stuff that's perpetuated racist stereotypes of Trish, which she does bring up later on
Yes.
in her nominations. And yeah, choice of words in the moment could have been and should have been much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, this whole dispute was over a lot of there's a commonality between food and fallouts in this season.
Very much.
Food is a huge thing. And listen, you're in a house full of at this, but it's still 14 people, with a very tight set of food. So there's bound to be arguments over that when the budget is very low and you're trying to feed 14 people. But then Dylan wants to take control in the kitchen. It feels like he's preparing this stuff for everyone. Trish wanted to eat her own stuff because she hadn't ate all day. Dylan felt some sort of way about it. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, and then we also get a confessional from Olivia about the incident later on.
Yeah.
And I feel like she put it like very well, like the situation kind of that Dylan is going through, where it's like, oh,
yeah, I told you, because we were watching this together, I told you to rewind back to Olivia so I could write this down. Olivia specifically said she thinks Dylan's and Trish's argument wasn't over something silly like the sausage. It was just something that was easy to blame.
mm-hmm.
And I think that was very accurate. And
yeah, I think that was very accurate too.
in between all of this, Kerry goes to the dairy room about the whole get Kerry out thing. She was trying to understand for herself why she was getting that kind of attention from the audience.
Right.
She even said that she thought that there was a possibility that it was Zach fans chanting "Get her out," thinking maybe because I've been very pro Henry staying, Zach fans want me out because of that. Couldn't be any further from the truth. Really, I don't know if there is that many. Without any disrespect, I don't think there is many Zach fans, which is why he was evicted.
Right.
It's not that there wasn't any Zach fans, just more Henry fans, or at least Team Yunman fans. That's how
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, and
Team
I mentioned this
Yunman.
last pod as well,
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, a lot of there's a good amount of teeny in run,
exactly.
and they know that if Henry stays around, Yinrin will still be happy, and
Exactly.
we love ourselves a happy Yinrin.
We
So
do. But also, it's not against Henry. I think I've really warmed to Henry in this season. I don't know what Logan had to say on that front.
we didn't mention much about it actually.
I
We were
want
just like,
to.
oh yeah, we like Henry, and we like that Henry makes Yinrin happy, and
Right. So I was very curious if Logan liked Henry because, the way he presented himself on the way into the house was not it.
right,
But him in the house, like the 24-hour, I mean, the 1 hour out of 24 hours that we get to see of Henry, mind you, also people in the UK can still see another 3 hours of him on the live feeds.
mhm.
Um, I'm really enjoying him. I think he'd make for the way I look at Big Brother is who would I get along with if I was in that same house? I think I'd get on along with Henry quite a lot.
I would get
Um,
along with Henry as well.
yeah, he's very, I don't know, he's just very sensible, and
He
um,
is.
yeah, yeah, I like Henry. Very sensible, very kind and considerate, and you know, anyone that comforts Yinwen in the house is someone I'm enjoying. So yeah,
Yes.
right. Let's get on to the next part of my notes. So we just left off with Kerry, Zach fans. Yeah, cool. Next up in the episode, we have a house meeting. Big Brother thinks it's time for a house meeting, so calls Trish to the diary room, tells her that she's going to be chairing the house meeting, and she can pick three topics that everyone can talk about, and yeah, it's a whole tea party vibe across the table. And so the three topics that Trish chose for discussion were food, realness / being authentic,
Yep.
and consideration. So,
Yes.
food. Um, First thing that Olivia brought up was the shopping list. Things. Some items are probably being overbought, and some items are being underbought.
Yeah.
I understand that, but also 14 people. Well, at that point, it was 15 people before the eviction.
Yeah.
14 people, economy budget. But also, it's interesting because some people are saying, I can't remember who it specifically was, that it's easier to buy shit on an economy budget than on a luxury budget.
I think Dylan said that actually.
Yes.
Yeah, he said that because it was like, oh, there's less to choose from, so it makes it easier for us to buy stuff.
But yeah, just buy the essential shit. But like I swear a lot. I don't know if a part of my language. Also, we're all Big Brother UK fans, so we're used to this kind of language. Also, the only time they were on a luxury budget was week 1. At that point, they didn't know enough about each other's food.
Restrictions, allergies.
Not even just that,
Yeah.
just their food, like their routines, food routines, the way they
Yeah, right.
like how they eat. I'd argue that next time they're probably on a luxury budget, it's going to go a lot better for them.
I would think so too.
So then, Yunwen said something, but I didn't write it down. Henry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So she mentioned about having like family dinners, but she doesn't want them to be like too often.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, I get that. I very often I eat by myself. I get
Yeah.
myself a plate of food and I come back in my room and I eat.
Yeah. Not everyone needs to be eating at the same time.
As nice as it is to like eat with your
Yeah,
family.
exactly. I need that space. I need that space to just enjoy myself and enjoy my food without having to, eat around other people and just get away for a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Henry brought up alcohol. Distribution could be a lot more considerate and fairer. Trish says food monitoring is a no-go, which is interesting considering something that happens later on. But yes, Trish brings up food monitoring, says that's a no-go. Right. So that's the food stuff out of the way. Next topic, realness / being authentic. Jordan, right away, basically says, stop telling me to smile. Which
I
honestly, valid.
very valid.
Because if we want to be honest and real with us, Jordan is not going to smile if he's,
No.
apart from this one time where he was encouraged to smile for his house guest photo.
I think he's been coerced to smile, actually.
Yeah, that's definitely wearing a smile.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's not going to smile apart from that one time during the shopping tax where he was encouraged that he had to smile.
Right.
The happy camp. Yeah. So that fair. Noki says you can literally behave in any way and people will take it in either a positive light or be negative about it. She encourages everyone to just being comfortable in themselves.
Yes. And she does shed a few tears on that too.
Yeah, because you brought up Zach, which Jordan and Henry, more
Mainly
specifically
Jordan.
Jordan, but I still think Henry in a way felt a similar way to Jordan.
Right.
Just felt like that whole thing was very disingenuous, which I'm very surprised by. Because I definitely feel like Noki and Zach were close.
I felt like Naki and Zach were close as well.
So
Like I felt like the people that were close that Zach was closest to were Naki and Dylan.
But it goes back to the whole thing that Jordan and Henry brought up themselves, is that they are clearly not aware of situations. They're not clear. They're clearly not seeing as much as we are.
Right.
So it goes back to that. So maybe the way they said about they need to be more considerate about that, maybe they're not being as considerate as they alluded they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, he says, if someone has an opinion about something, don't call them names. Like that was a terrible Scouse accent.
Someone has an opinion on something.
Someone has an opinion about someone, don't call them names. Tell
Oh my
them to
god,
their
his
face.
accent is so strong.
Tell them to
It's
their
so
face.
thick.
But like, yeah, if someone has an opinion, don't call them names. Tell them to their face. It goes back to that goes to what Chanel brings up later on. Trish says if something bothers you, say it. Chanel basically doesn't subscribe to that. She's very passive, and I think she admits that herself. It's like she says
She
she
openly says like herself that she's not a confrontational person.
right.
And I get that, and I totally get that. Um, because I'm depending on the reason or whatever, depending on the scenario, I'm not one to make a scene.
Right. Exactly. Um. So we can't expect it. It's different. It's difficult because people want because the way that so for example because this plays into this and I've written about it later down the line as well. The way Trish processes situations is very different to how Chanel processes situations, and I feel like one can't expect the other to deal with that the way that they want to in the way that they do, and like people operate differently.
Yes.
That's we can't expect everyone to operate the same way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
I just had verbal diarrhea. But like it's a difficult situation, but it does it does impact nominations, and we'll get to nominations later on. Consideration is the final topic of the house meeting. Trish, right away, bedtime consideration. Let people sleep at night, let people rest at night. They want to get their beauty, they want to get their sleep. Paul takes exception to this. Basically says, I'm hyper, I'm hype, I'm, I can't do it. I'm hyperactive. He says he's hyperactive. He stays up awake until 3 a.m. in his real life. Um, he thinks people have this weird power hierarchy and people they tell people what to do and whatnot and stuff. Like if I'm gonna stay awake, you can't expect me to stay to fall asleep or go to sleep at the same time as you, because we're in Big Brother. That's not how it works. I have an opinion on that. You're in a whole house. Why do you need to be awake in the bedroom at the same time that everyone else is trying to sleep? Go somewhere else.
Right.
Go somewhere else if you're going to be awake at that time.
Yeah. yeah, I think that's very much the best way to solve that.
Exactly. Although I do get there's possibly some nights where Big Brother does have a curfew and encourages everyone to go to the bedroom because they're setting up for some sort of shopping task, potentially.
And that could
That's possibly the only exception I could think of.
yeah.
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 Great. Next up, flush the toilet. Hallie says this. I think, yeah.
Oh
Hallie's
yes.
brought up flush the toilet. There's a different. Oh yeah, Hallie on the back of Paul's point about power hierarchy. Hallie said there's a difference between asking someone to do something or telling someone to do something, and just be considerate about the way they're talking to each other. And then she brings up flush the fucking toilet. Yeah, and then Olivia
Talks about her experience having to clean up some shit that was stuck on the toilet.
yeah, not nice. Ew, gross. All right, so that's a meeting done with.
Can I just say as well,
Yeah.
Yinrin during this entire meeting, literally me.
But I didn't pick up on it.
There was like, especially towards the second, like in the second half of the meeting, she literally had this like doily, like on her head, and she was like, "Oh, can you take that off, please?" She's like, "I'm so sorry."
I didn't get that. Take it off. I think
it's super minor. Like it doesn't have much importance. I just love it for Yinrin.
Right. Okay, and then so we end this episode. Yeah, well, we don't end the episode quite yet. Jordan brings up that he doesn't believe Noki's being sincere. Very skeptical. He's very skeptical of her.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't get that. Like, I don't understand.
I think that's just his read on it, and unfortunately, it's not correct.
No, very weird. Um, and then Jordan and Matty being cutesy with each other. Henry, very awkward around them both.
Yes.
And I think the edit definitely plays into that as well. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
Henry was very awkward around them both, and they were at the sofas and stuff. And Henry decides to go to the kitchen, grab something, and then comes back. Right, and then that's Sunday's episode, and I think that's everything I picked up on Sunday's episode. Yay, sweet.
Okay, sorry.
Monday's episode, and it's shopping task time once again.
And
Yay!
wake up, and the house has
Ants literally
ants,
everywhere. Ants, trails of ants everywhere. Leaves, giant leaves everywhere. These two
pipes,
pipes, these two seats that look like
leaves.
leaves and stuff. Cakes, sugary shit everywhere in the kitchen. Everyone's confused. Big Brother's announcing they're in the no, Bug Brother
There we go. Bug brother.
announced that they are now 10 ants, and they are in the ant kingdom, and they're going to be split into two colonies: the blue ants colony and the orange ants colony. The blue ants, we have Paul, Jenkins, Jordan, Trish, Olivia, Kerry, Noki. In the orange, we have Matty, Chanel, Yinran, Tom, Hallie, Dylan, and Henry. They were told to elect queens of the colony. They elected blue elected Noki, and orange elected Chanel. What do we think of that? Think fun selections, good
I think it
selections.
was. I really like the. I really like that for them both.
Yeah, I loved that, especially Chanel. I didn't get to. I don't think we got much from Chanel up to this point, so it's nice to get
Yeah.
like Chanel definitely like we got something towards the start of the season, and then she kind of fell into the background a bit, and but now we get to see her.
I think we started getting more of her when she had the secret mission,
Yeah, but like
which I personally really loved.
I loved that secret mission, but I still think around that then or after that, I didn't get to see anything of her. I
Right.
think this helped her case a lot more in terms of getting an edit
Mhm.
than the secret mission, to be honest.
Yeah.
I also wrote down, I don't know if it's just me that's seeing this, but Olivia's really come into her own. Especially during this task, I really feel like Olivia has come into her own in terms of I don't know. I'm starting to enjoy her a lot more now than I. Oh
He's
God,
definitely growing on me.
she's grown on me quite a lot. At the start of the season, I really did not like her, but now I'm really enjoying her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, she's
and
entertaining. I'm surprised of
she's
how
really
like
entertaining.
entertained I am by her beyond the whole immunity thing.
Yeah,
I
and
think also because I feel like the true transformation was from the prison.
Brian,
I'm like
I
she learned a lot in her 2 hours in prison.
I do feel like um I feel like she enjoyed this particular task a lot, and that's probably why I enjoyed it. Hers
Yeah,
particularly these last couple of these two episodes, she really played into the task,
she did.
and it's a shame other people didn't, but we'll get there. Right, so originally Blue had this strategy. There was some sort of strategy going on. They decided Olivia and Jordan would be floaters, Trish and Paul would be collecting eggs, Jenkin and Kerry would be protecting the eggs, but that kind of got thrown away almost instantly.
Yeah.
Matty and Jordan, they had a serious conversation in the garden. Jordan mentioned how he doesn't like touchy, like
He doesn't.
like touch
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, it was nice to see them having a conversation about everything.
Yeah.
Although Jordan was still trying to like put his guard up, he kind of let his guard down a bit.
Hmm.
In this instance, and it was nice to see that.
I just love that Jordan. We're getting a lot. We're getting a lot on Jordan, and
Yeah.
this whole like love story, whatever friendship like situation that he
Mm-hmm.
has, especially with Maddie.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
was a thought I had and I forgot it. But oh no, I just love that he's like confused. Sorry, I
You
don't
love
want
that he's
to, but like,
confused.
sorry.
That's not
I mean, I love that we see that
that struggle.
that struggle.
I
Like,
liked, yeah, I like that we're getting an edit of that struggle.
I think it's vulnerability. That's what I'm. That's
Yeah,
the word.
exactly.
We're getting
Vulnerability.
vulnerability from Jordan.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so, um, oh yeah, I wrote this down. Chanel. Although
No.
I love that we're getting an edit from her. I do not. I personally, and this might just be me because I relate to how Olivia and Trish and whatnot were during this task, but I did not like how serious Chanel was being in terms of the whole joking around, in terms of the
Oh,
um
right.
the trash talk,
The smack talk,
the
yeah,
smack talk. Yeah, I felt like she was being far too serious after, um, specifically after Olivia made a joke about Chanel accidentally calling Tom Paul.
yeah.
I took exception to
Oh
Chanel
yes. So yeah, this was when they were assigning or
people
like
for the, yeah.
yeah.
I I don't know. How did you feel about Chanel's response to that?
I was kind of surprised actually for her to like take it so seriously
Mm-hmm.
because I would have assumed she would have just like laughed it off, and then everyone, and then
Yeah.
at least that would let everyone in on that joke as well, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone could have just laughed it off there too, including Tom. Um, no, but I got real serious, and I yeah, uh, ooh, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that reaction,
I
basically.
wasn't a fan of the reaction, but that might. I'm also just aware that that's just because I I relate to how. I mean, I'd be the same way if I was in a team challenge and I'm playing into it and having fun with it. I I felt like Chanel just wasn't having fun with it in the same way that Olivia and Trish and whatnot were, and I didn't like
Yeah,
that. Just have fun with it, enjoy it. It's a game. You're having fun. You're split into teams, and you're collecting fucking eggs and keeping them stored, and that's all that it is really.
yeah,
I felt like her and Dylan were. I mean, yeah, Dylan also was being far too serious about
this the
it when
trash
the
talk.
Blues were
Yeah,
just having fun and calling it sexist and whatnot. Um, that whole situation was so out of proportion
hmm.
in my eyes, at least.
I feel like Loki, it might be like a bit of a generational thing, but I also don't know because like Trish and Carrie were on the same team, and then Dylan's on kind of the other side of it.
I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's just I don't know. It might just be, I don't know,
I don't,
tiredness. I don't fucking know at this point.
it could be tiredness and
But also
I don't
just the
know.
way they approach different things. Chanel is
Chanel's very passive, laid back.
laid back, but not that like serious. Like she's serious, and I don't think this task required that severity. I don't know.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, Chanel thought that Trish was implying she was sexist because she chose three men. All this stuff. She had this conversation in the garden about how scientifically men are stronger, etc., etc. That's why she chose three men, not because she's like, not because I don't know. That whole situation was so fucking weird.
It was essentially, to me, it was essentially like blown out of proportion.
It's a fucking challenge in a game. I don't know. Um, and then this whole Paul situation was weird as well. Paul was saying how everyone's getting so serious and being so serious and about the severity of the task. We're dressed as ants. Why is everyone so serious? But then all of a sudden he got serious, and I found that entirely hypocritical.
Yeah. And this was towards Olivia and Naki.
Yeah.
And yeah. But also like before that. So basically we get to the challenge. And so we have Maddie, Tom, and Dylan representing the orange ants. And then we have Jenkin, Olivia, and Paul representing the blue ants. And by a clean sweep, by a blowout, one after the other, the entire orange team drops out, and the blue team has an advantage in the final task challenge thing.
Right. I could tell even in that there was so much tension.
There was a lot of
Coming from the orange team and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't. Oh god, it was very. But like, if I'm in a team game, I'm gonna be taking the piss like that. I'm sorry. And that's just how I am, and that's probably why I related so much with Trish and
Mhm.
Olivia in that time in that moment. I
And
loved
I
Olivia
personally would
in
have
this.
been the same too.
This is why I loved Olivia throughout this task, was because she knew it was purely just, she knew it was a game and it wasn't that serious, and she was playing the game.
And she
I
was
was
having fun with it.
exactly right. And then they had a moment where Kerry was defending the nest, but she needed a piss. So she was like, can one of you, right, like, can I just go for a piss? And they were like, well, yeah, but I'll take an egg. You can go for a piss if you let me have one egg. And then Yinrun comes out and she's like, okay, oh, yes, great. Yes, I love her. Yinrun, these won't let me go for a piss. Can you make sure? And then Yinrun was like, yeah, if you give us an egg, sure. And then she starts splashing the jacuzzi, the hot tub. And she's like, one egg for a healthy bladder. I fucking loved
I
Yinrun doing
loved
that.
that moment so much.
Yinrun has such
That
a
was brutal.
Yinrun has she has such a soft outside, um, but she has a hidden devilish
She's
side to her.
witty.
I love
She's
it.
witty.
She has a secret devilish side. That's what I'm saying. Like she knows when to play the game, and she was playing the game just then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Eventually, Tom took an egg because this was a situation. Katie wasn't looking, so took an egg, put it back in the nest, and then they had a fight not even a fight, just like he was literally on the nest, and Kerry still reached under and grabbed it and chucked it back into the nest. So the rules on that weren't as
The rules
clear
on
as I
that
think.
weren't super clear. I
No,
did like they did say they were allowed to steal
right.
like eggs from each other. Oh, and also we forgot to mention, but like I'm not sure if you're gonna mention it later, but whichever team had the most eggs in their nest by the end would be the ones to have control of the shopping
That's not
budget.
even true though.
Oh, was
No, I'm coming to it. So
okay, my bad.
we then have Kerry and Henry in a spelling task. Um, Henry pretty much almost bang on. Kerry had no fucking clue. The smelly sock that she thought was cheese. The something that smelled like nothing that she thought was mild cheddar, but it was actually
Spoiled milk,
spoiled milk. The thing that she thought was manure was actually
cow urine.
cow urine. But who gets that? Who's gonna? I don't know. And then Henry actually got manure. Yeah, he was pretty spot on. I felt like it should have been the same selection, to be honest.
I
It would have
think
been
it should
fairer.
have been the same selection too.
It would
Like
have been fairer, and
yeah, definitely. I think it should have been Carrie's selection because I think Carrie had the hardest selection.
exactly. Like, of course, someone's gonna get manure if
Yeah,
they're smelling. Yeah. Anyway, right. So that's Monday's episode, day one of the shopping task. We move on to day two of the shopping task. Olivia got the first egg of the day. Literally, as everyone was waking up, got the egg, put it into the nest that Paul was meant to be protecting. Dylan goes straight outside after her, just chucks the egg back into the other side. Paul, at this point, couldn't care less. Tom
he was
asked
out
him
of
if
it. He was
Tom,
so out of it.
Tom asked him if he wanted it. Paul couldn't give a fuck.
So he kept it.
But like, yeah, I feel like Dylan doing that was fair game.
Yes.
Paul was not there. Noki, I mean, okay, I'm going straight into the final task of the puzzles and stuff because I don't think there was anything to pick up on before that.
Oh, okay. They mentioned something about like advantages, like from
yeah, Henry got an advantage from the smelling task.
from the smelling task, and like we never got to know what that was.
Yeah,
like,
we never. That wasn't clear. There wasn't. Yeah, we didn't know what that was. So, again, another editing issue.
yeah.
Sort it out, editors. We need to find out what that was. So yeah, I felt like Noki's team building at the start was much better than Chanel's.
Yes.
Chanel was like, "We're gonna do that," and I was like, "Yay!" Noki sounds more like Noki would be a much better motivational speaker than Chanel.
But I think that also comes with like kind of Naki and her
Noki's
like
background.
career.
Yeah, definitely. She her history in pageantry. She's such a good talker.
Yeah.
Having said that, the Blue Colony failed to get the puzzle completed in time, but yet Chanel's colony did manage to, which I found interesting because the edit made it look like Chanel's team was struggling more than Noki's team.
Right. Yeah.
Incredible.
Also, like they like barely complete. So Chanel's team barely like succeeded.
Right. Barely. No, literally 11 seconds.
Oh, that's Naki's team which
Oh,
failed.
Noki's team failed by 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Chanel's team within a minute. I can't remember.
It was like 14
completed
minutes
it.
or something.
Something like that. Yeah. But the blue colony failed to complete the puzzle task by 11 seconds, thus making the shopping budget economy. But since the orange colony, this is what they said, since the orange colony finished the puzzle task in the quickest time, they controlled the shopping budget, which I found confusing because, and I literally wrote this down with 4 question marks, did the eggs mean nothing? I would be pissed off if I was doing that for 2 days, collecting eggs and keeping them safe, just to find out that it didn't mean it meant jack shit to the task itself.
Right.
Olivia had a conversation with someone. I think it might have been it might have been someone else about Dylan, thinking that Dylan is a control freak around the kitchen. I wanted to ask something about this. Do you think that Dylan, do you think Dylan weaponizes the kitchen?
In a way, and I think Trish kind of talked about it a bit, especially because it's like, oh, after Carrie, it's Dylan. After Dylan, it's Trish, I believe.
After Carrie, it's Dylan. After Dylan, it's Trish. In what?
In like from oldest to youngest.
Right.
Like, Carrie's the eldest in the house, and then it's Dylan, and then it's Trish.
Right. But like, do we think Dylan weaponizes the kitchen in that, like,
in the sense of what?
Like, tries to have some sort of control over it because I don't know, like he.
Okay, no, I really.
He uses the kitchen to, like, I don't know, like he's clearly the cook of the house, like the chef of the house.
But then
every
again, he puts himself in that position.
He puts himself in
like
that position.
No one asked, kind of thing. But they're grateful because some of them don't even know how to cook, right?
Right. But like, I think he definitely put himself in that position because he thought potentially that if I'm the house cook and preparing all the food for the entire house, that's some sort of thing I can use to keep myself in the game potentially, or keep myself there. But like,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, in that sense, I would say yes, he's weaponizing it. But if you mean it like in the other sense, kind of thing, like
what other sense?
So I thought it was something you were gonna mention earlier, like something else you were gonna mention earlier, and then I realized what you. I thought I realized what you meant, kind of thing. Sorry, ignore that.
What do you think? Like, what's your stance on Dylan and the kitchen and food and the I don't know, just.
I do think he can take some time off the kitchen just so he can take some time for himself. Unless he like truly enjoys it there. But like,
I think if he didn't enjoy it there, he wouldn't be there as often.
Right.
I think he definitely enjoys it there. But like, I feel like he has too much of a sense of control when he is there.
I agree.
Yeah. I will be interested. I'll bring this up later. Paul and Olivia. Kerry forced Paul to have a talk with Olivia. This whole situation where when Olivia left the diary room, Kerry was like, "Right, she's there now. Go, go, go!" And Paul goes to Olivia, and they have a talk to each other. Paul was on almost like an apology tour at this point between both Olivia and Noki.
Yeah.
What do we think of that? What do we think of the apology tour? Do we think I don't know, like, do we think that he got out of that what he wanted?
I feel like he did.
But
Because
like, I also feel like he was hesitant to do all that.
I think he was hesitant because he feels like he's in the right.
Yeah,
But
he
he
did.
was wrong. But he knows that he's in the wrong about yelling at them.
Right.
Like, the way he could have delivered his point could have been better.
Yeah, I feel like he was very hesitant to apologize because he feels like he was in the right, and he doesn't want, and he it's this whole childish thing that I see way too often where someone doesn't want to apologize because they don't want the other person to feel like they've won
Right.
or something like that. Like he doesn't want Olivia or Noki to feel like they were right. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that's basically what it was.
Yeah. Um.
But like, I think what he did was a good like halfway kind of thing, and I know Carrie kind of told him to do that. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, apologize for the way you spoke to them, rather than apologizing for like
For
being
the content of what he was saying.
yeah
Yeah. I wrote this down. It's just an observation that I made. Every time the storeroom opens, it turns into the fucking Olympics. Genuinely,
oh
Big
yeah.
Brother announces, "This is Big Brother. The storeroom is now open." Everyone fucking
It's like feeding time at the zoo.
genuinely, yeah. Like they all fucking sprint their way to the fucking storeroom. Some people opted not to do that. Henry was already um
In the hot.
relaxing in the hot tub. Couldn't, yeah. If to be fair, if I'm in the hot tub and you announce that, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking jumping out of the hot tub. I'd be crazy to jump out the hot tub and just run towards the storeroom like that.
See, if I tried, I would slip. Like I would break
It
my
would be a
leg
scene
or
though. I
something.
would love that. I would have loved to see that. I
Just-
want one day to be for someone to be in the hot tub all of a sudden just run and yeet
I
themselves
feel like
towards.
Paul would do that. Paul would definitely do that.
Yeah. And I feel like it almost counteracts a lot of the house topics during the house meeting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All this stuff about consideration. There was
Yeah,
no consideration.
and I know like Tom was the gist of like everything he was yelling was basically like fuck consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
he didn't say that verbatim, but like that was the essence of what
Exactly.
he was yelling.
Jenkin and Hallie sitting in one end of the garden, Henry and Jordan on the other end of the garden. Jenkin and Hallie thinks Henry and Jordan would make a cute couple.
And we
That's
agree.
and we agree, but I don't know if it is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't. It's a difficult one
It is a difficult one.
because the way we end this episode, is it this episode? It is. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. It's a difficult one. We'll talk about it when we wrap up this particular day. Um, Jenkin gets pissy with. Okay, Jenkin was getting very pissy with Hallie when Jenkin was making burgers and Hallie was around. Jenkin, I was so taken back by how Jenkin was acting around Hallie. Or
Right.
because I felt like Hallie isn't doing much of anything, and you're being very, I don't want to say aggressive, just angry around, but she's not done much. That's the way I was looking at it.
I think it
When
was one of those like, oh, I need my space kind of thing. You're invading my personal
yes, but
space.
it goes back to intention versus no, like sure, fair enough. You could. say that in a better way, but like I also think if you need that space, that's fine. But Hallie's didn't do much of anything, if any, much. I would almost go as far as say she did nothing. So I was very confused by that.
Right. I think just Hallie has been up to a lot, kind of as of then, and Jinger
Right.
was kind of like, oh, I'm not really having any of it.
But like,
And this probably was when after like she was hiding everyone's stuff.
this was before Hallie was hiding everyone's stuff.
Okay, before. Okay.
Um, so I felt that reaction was very unnecessary, personally.
Yeah.
Hallie then hides Mattie's teddy in the ceiling.
Okay. There we are. Hallie has ended up hiding a lot of stuff.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, she listed she ended up like listing every person like she hid stuff from. So like Maddie's teddy bear. I think she hid like Olivia's shoes.
Right, but I didn't get to see any of that. I might have been an episode I didn't get to watch, unfortunately.
No, you did. No, we were watching
And
it
I
together. You were on your phone.
I didn't pick up on it then. And then we have Would You Rather. So I thought I'd ask you some of the questions that got asked during Would You Rather. If you were in the house at this stage in the game, would you rather leave now with the 100,000 grand prize, or would you stay for 6 weeks and get nothing?
I actually thought about these questions. So, as much as I do want the 100,000, and it is very tempting, I would rather stay for the 6 weeks because I think that's an experience you'll never be able to put a price on.
The way I thought of it, up to this point, I've had enough of an experience, and I'd walk out with the 100 grand because then I know I'm getting something out of it, and I've already
Right.
and I don't think there's much else I could get out of it by staying for another
3 weeks.
3 weeks that I haven't already got out of the first 3 weeks.
I think to me it's just you'll be able to you spend more time with kind of the people you're with.
Right.
And you get to know them even more than you did kind of within the previous 3 weeks.
But like 6 figures, I don't know.
That's not 6
That's
figures,
something.
that's 5 figures.
No, 100,000, 6 figures.
No, 6 figures is $1 million, no?
No, that's 7 figures.
I don't know math. Anyways,
100,000. How many zeros are in 100,000?
5.
Plus the one on top.
Okay, so 6 figures, sure.
God. And you're the math person.
Anyways,
So, would you rather get immunity until finale or face nominations or face eviction every week?
ooh. It's okay. So like I would want immunity because I want to be safe, but also like I wouldn't mind like being up every evict. Actually, no, I'd rather have the immunity.
I'd rather be up every eviction. Do you know why? I feel like if I was immune until finale, although this has happened before in BBUK, and the person somehow won, although she was a bit of a bitch. I personally would think if I was immune for that long, people would get annoyed by me in terms of the public. The public would get very annoyed by me because
Right.
So I don't trust that I'm gonna win if I get to the end through a random immunity. I'd rather face the public vote every week because I feel like I'd have a better shot.
Right.
I don't know. That's just me. Um, and then there was also other dumb questions like, Paul, would you rather get rid of Olivia or Tom? He said he'd keep Tom. Um, Jenkins' facials during this whole would you rather. Jenkins was not in it at all.
He was not.
No. This whole edit is making Jenkins feel like seem like such a bitch.
I think it was just for that day in particular
He
because
was
he was so out of it.
he was so out of it. He was having a bad day potentially. Sure.
I do. Oh, I remember Yinren's question too. Yinren asked Olivia, "Would you rather 10 Pauls or 10 Toms?"
Yeah. And 10 Paul's because Paul's honest and Tom would just hide how he felt.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And then Tom and Paul messes around with Hallie's bed, hides her stuff. Hallie goes to the DR like, I'm taking a bunch of other people's shit, but why is Tom taking my shit? Because I haven't messed around with Tom. Which honestly ridiculous because Tom's just doing up to her what she's doing to other people. I don't know.
It's communal return.
It's communal return, to which Hallie replies with communal fuck off. Yeah, that was a situation. I found that fun, to be honest. Just seeing
I thought it was entertaining.
how,
I don't know.
how far Tom ran just to hide some stuff. It was ridiculous.
He went all the way up in the mezzanine. I found that crazy.
Yeah. I put down Jenkins being a moody bastard. I really didn't like Jenkins during that episode. I felt
His
like
one-liners, though, I really love his one-liners. Like, and even just this little banter between like Jenkins and Chanel, just being super hella Welsh.
right, but like I just this one episode, I was so over him.
Right.
I felt like Hallie had done barely anything to him, and he was overreacting to Hallie particularly. And then Jordan and Henry kiss. Yeah, that was a moment.
It was a kiss goodnight. It was a kiss goodnight.
It was a kiss goodnight, but it was a kiss.
Right,
at that
but
stage, he's not. He doesn't fucking kiss everyone.
no, I know that, but like, I don't know. I don't know.
Still something to bring up because that's as intimate as we've seen Jordan be with anyone at that point.
That is true.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm like so out of it. Like,
I don't know if you had more to say.
I was rewatching episode 16 and I fell asleep. So
I didn't know if you had more to say about that kiss though. Did you not have any reaction to that whatsoever?
I mean, I knew it was coming. That's why.
Right, but like when you initially saw that.
Okay, when I initially saw it, I was like, "Oh, I can't tell if it was like cheek or it was like fully on the lips because I can't tell which way Jordan was facing."
Right. Would that make a difference to your reaction?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Wednesday, the task is done. Well, I mean, the task had been done. It's time for nominations. So I've written down pretty much everyone who nominated who and almost like a brief summary of reasons why they nominated that person. So we began with Chanel going to the DR. Chanel nominates Hallie because Hallie included her in arguments that when she didn't need to, and it felt like Hallie made Chanel felt Hallie made her feel at odds with a few different housemates, namely Trish, Olivia, and someone else.
Yeah.
And then Noki. Oh, it might have been Noki as well. And then she nominated Noki because of the task. Basically putting her at odds with Noki. I don't know what the specific Noki, why Chanel nominated Noki. All that happened between them two is they were two opposite queens. And I don't know.
Right. I don't remember the reason.
Maybe she felt like Noki was playing into it, parting more, far more than she was. because
Maybe.
Naki was definitely playing into that queen role.
Oh no! I think she said that she was kind of scared to be authentic around Naki, kind of thing.
She might have said that.
I think she said that about Naki.
Okay, Jordan nominates Hallie and Jenkins. He says that Hallie took people's possessions and hid them, and that's not something that he's particularly fond of. And he nominates Jenkins because he finds him very difficult to read. Doesn't know
And
if
food
he's a friend
monitoring.
or an enemy, and like he doesn't know where he stands with him. But also likes to monitor food, and he doesn't like the fact that Jenkins is monitoring food and stuff.
Yeah.
Kerry nominates Trish. She finds Kerry confrontational. Kerry rightly says that she's like Kerry, like Trish is like Kerry, but I think she specifically said, and I quote, she has a bulldozer approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Kerry. I don't know. Trish and Kerry are very two sides of the same coin, to be honest.
I think so as well.
Yeah. And Kerry also nominated Dylan because he's very bossy around the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trish nominates Chanel. Because she was perpetuating the fact that Trish is scary, and Trish wishes that she had come to Trish herself rather than, talked about Trish and was very passive in that whole situation. And
Right.
then Trish also nominated Dylan because he stereotypes me, calls me loud, and says the reason that Chanel couldn't come to me directly was because she was scared of me. Honestly, very valid. Yeah, Dylan was doing a lot of the perpetuating
Yeah.
personally, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yinren nominates Hallie for the rule break. The irony.
We'll talk about it.
Says that the rule break from Hallie is a big thing. She called Zach a game player behind his back. How would you talk about me behind my back? And it made her very paranoid. And she also nominated Kerry for similar reasons that she nominated Kerry last week, to be honest.
And the week before.
And the week before was that she still feels very distant with her and doesn't trust her. Right. Noki nominates Chanel. She said, I have had a difficult time in here, and I think that's largely because of our differences. We address conflict very differently, and I'm always walking on eggshells around that perspective that she has. And then Dylan, and there's no need for the conflict, and people can't tell if he's joking or not. Henry nominates Paul. His antics and behavior have grinded on me slightly, pulling people off their beds, etc., etc. We still haven't had a complex conversation that lasts longer than 2 minutes. Fair. I love Henry's nomination record, to be honest. I think Henry is the person who nominates. I don't know. I can't remember how he nominated last week but I feel like there's always one person that's always nominated by one person, and this week it was Henry who nominated Paul, and I'm surprised that no one else did.
Yeah. So last week Henry nominated Zach and Paul.
Right. So yeah, I love his nomination record. And then he also nominated Noki because, in a similar sense to Jordan, he feels he's met a filtered version of Noki. He feels like you're not seeing a real person in front of you when you're with Noki, and it all feels very orchestrated. Again, surprising me, but sure. Olivia nominates Dylan for leaving the toilet seat up. Pretty much. Then nominates Matty because he is quiet and I'm loud. I don't feel like he enhances my Big Brother experience, is what she said.
Yeah.
Which I was slightly taken back by, but it also makes sense to me.
It kind of checks out because I know that Maddie has also talked like shit about Olivia on her loudness.
Right. And Matty nominated Olivia back to her because dramas involving the breaking rules and stuff, and feels that Olivia is very immature. And he nominates Kerry for having disproportionate responses to minor inconveniences.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Yeah. Paul nominates Trish for mixing things in the house and bringing up topics that are too serious for the house. And then nominates Noki for the confrontation that they had, and it made him see another side to Noki and made him think that she might not be being her true self. Dylan nominates Trish for comments made during the Ants game, saying sexist things. I really don't like this.
I really don't like this narrative for Trish.
Yeah, I really don't like this narrative that she's sexist just because she was playing into the banter of the trash talk and whatnot.
Exactly.
And then Kerry for the foul fast food challenge and taking more time talking about it than doing it. Like the things in the challenge, like talking about challengey stuff than actually taking part in it and doing shit.
Yeah.
Talking about shit rather than doing shit.
Yeah.
Hallie nominates Henry because, and I have an opinion on this. She nominated Hallie for. She's basically insinuating that he's lazy, and that he only cleans his own he only washes his own dishes, but not anyone else's. I have an opinion on that.
I don't think he's that lazy though.
I don't think he's that lazy, but also, if the issue is that I clean my dishes but I don't clean anyone else's dishes, why is that my responsibility? Why would that ever be my responsibility? I would absolutely clean up after myself.
Right.
But anyone else's shit, that's not my shit to deal with.
Exactly.
So I took exception to that particular nomination. And this whole stuff that she was bringing up about maybe he's like spoon fed at home and stuff, and that he has other people deal with this stuff when he's outside the house. Yeah, I didn't like any of that because it also perpetuates the narrative just because he's posh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that is accurate, but he pulls his own weight and cleans up after himself, and for me, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And
no,
then,
I agree with that.
And then she also nominated Tom because he doesn't know where to draw the line or where a joke's gone too far. And we see that later on.
Yeah.
Tom nominates Trish because of her own hypocrisy around food monitoring. And he also nominates Hallie because he finds that she's a shit stirrer and a bit of a game player. And then she also broke rules and stuff. Jenkin nominates Hallie because she acts up to the cameras a lot, repeats conversations to other people when she doesn't need to, and she stirs the pot. And he nominates Trish because she's the one who's food monitoring. So, um, like she'll take food first and then go back for more. So he also finds that she is hypocritical when she brought up food monitoring in the house meeting. And that's all the nominations. We then come to find that there's been a rule break. And the cause for this rule break is Yinrun, which shocked everyone in that room.
Yeah.
Shocked me when I found out during Late and Live when they did the camera runs and Oti Mabuse was in the camera runs and we saw Yinrun in jail. So this conversation, I mean, it's such a minor thing. She was in a conversation with Henry talking about nominations, not specifically who she was nominating, but the way she intended to nominate was it could be between she could nominate over feelings, or she could nominate someone to increase the chances of someone that a friend of hers staying. I can't remember exactly word for word how it was.
I don't remember either, but
it was so minute. But because of this rule break, the people facing eviction are Trish, Hallie, and Dylan. Here's something I picked up on. If Yinrun did not break the rules regarding nominations,
it would have just been Trish and Hallie.
Trish and Hallie. So, Yinrun breaking nominations, in my eyes, is a blessing in disguise. Such a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. I think I'll agree with that.
I would prefer it. I much prefer it how it is now than how it would have been if Human did not break the rules, to be honest.
Yes.
Yinrun, I feel like Yinrun made an assumption in her head that she was the cause. She specifically was the cause for particularly Trish being on the block. And really, Trish was always going to be on the block.
Yeah. And she knew that too. So
right. She knew that, and she was trying to remind Yinrun that the reason why she's on the block was because the people nominated her, not because of something that Yinrun did specifically. Hallie went straight to bed crying, and then Kerry came to comfort her. I feel like Kerry is some sort of motherly figure for Hallie in the house.
I agree.
But she also wants to be that motherly figure for everyone. Yes. She wants to position herself in the house as that motherly figure, and I don't think it's working with most of the people in the house.
I don't think so, no. I think, if anything, Trish has kind of taken on that role with anyone that Carrie doesn't mother, quote unquote.
Right. And then Jinran was crying in the jail. It got to the point where I felt like it was being a bit much, but I also that's just Jinran.
Yeah.
But it was such an awkward watch because I felt like this is like if you just put everything into perspective, all you're doing is sitting in a red box and you've really not done anything. Like she felt
yeah, because I feel like she got a worse punishment compared to Hallie and Olivia.
For right, but it's different though because Yinrun specifically discussed nominations. Hallie and Olivia were talking in code. It's a different situation,
right?
Yeah, Yinrun felt guilty about the nominations, but really the only thing she was responsible for was adding Dylan to the block and being sat in a red box. Dylan didn't understand why he was up for nominations. He was up for eviction. He was in the diary room saying, I don't know what I've done. Essentially, he was very confused.
It's not like he had a scuffle with Trish or anything.
No,
It's not like he was like, yo, I'm not with this vibe when they were smack talking. No, not at all.
no, um, definitely not. I feel like, and then we got another conversation between Jordan and Matty in the eye, in the garden in the eye.
Yes.
Jordan, I says Jordan has a very hard shell, like a barrier, and he literally put up a barrier, but like, but he has such a barrier, and he doesn't like to peel the layers.
I think now that he knows layers are starting to come off, I think he's trying to set boundaries
He's
for himself.
definitely trying to step out.
I think that's essentially what that conversation was about.
Yeah, but that's good. It's better to be setting boundaries than letting the water be muddied, and you know,
Yep.
it's better now. It's like putting two jigsaw pieces together, but like not quite finding the right um side or the right shape to go into. But
Right.
now that Jordan has set those boundaries, I feel like it's easier for them to put the pieces together.
Hmm.
um Yinren with the quote of the season. So I don't know about quote of the season. One of my favorite quotes. Yinren says that she'll never say the N word again.
She will never say the N word again.
And Dylan found that hysterical. And I don't even, there's a chance that she might not even understand how funny that is.
I don't think she does at the moment. But
I think she ever will know.
If Trish was there,
I think Trish would find it funny.
Trish would find it funny.
But Trish would probably fill her in.
Yes, she would.
There's a chance that Human did know, and that's why she said it. To be
I
funny.
can't. I actually can't tell.
I can't tell. And then there was this whole riot, this protest of free Yimran, free Yimran, free Yimran. Everyone gets into the jail apart from Paul and Tom. and then Yinran's legal team, being Jordan and Henry, go to Big Brother. Jordan being a lawyer, but also not fully understanding lawyer shit. It's quite funny, quite hysterical.
I just love that before it's like right when they're going into the diary room, he's like, I don't want to do this.
He was dragged into it.
Like I love him kind of being a buzzkill, but
Yeah,
I mean that in the best way possible, like in the funniest way possible, where he's like,
completely.
we're talking about Yinren here. And Jordan's just like, she can just open the door and leave.
Right. And then there was this situation between Hallie and Tom with Jenkin with Tom, and then Hallie was trying to
Oh,
talk to Jordan and Henry. This was in the bedroom,
yes.
and then Jenkin was joining in with Tom, and Hallie was telling him to shut up. And I felt in that particular moment there,
That was, I didn't like that.
I found that particular moment. I specifically pointed out Jenkin as being such a hypocrite in that particular moment. This whole stuff about Hallie, leave me alone, Hallie this, Hallie that, Hallie stuff, Hallie's being to, and then all of a sudden being the same person that Hallie was to him a day later, towards Hallie. I found that such a hypocritical side of Jenkin. And then Tom, that situation, I did not like Tom in that situation. And then when
I didn't like Tom in that situation either.
Hallie, I felt like Tom was amplifying the situation between Hallie and Jordan Henry. Hallie went to Jordan Henry checking if they were right, and it was really nothing. I felt like, and then Tom was like, I felt like Tom was putting up a defense that he really shouldn't have really been trying to defend himself there. He should have just been like, okay, sorry. He was being such a prick in that moment.
He was.
Really
That's
did.
the most we ever saw of him too.
Right. And that's pretty much everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So the block, we have Dylan, Trish, and there's someone else I forgot. Hallie, there we go. Dylan, Trish, and Hallie. Who do we think's going tomorrow?
I think Trish is staying for sure.
Right, but like,
I would want it to be Dylan to go.
Who do we think is going?
I don't know. It's definitely between. Okay, if I'm just gonna say a name, I'm gonna say Hallie because of the whole rule break scandal. But I don't want it to be Hallie.
I can't say with 100% certainty that Trish is staying, which sucks. But I think and want Dylan to go. I think he's gone. Just because we haven't seen much of him, and as soon as we did see anything of him, it was yucky. I feel like we've seen more of a side to Trish and Hallie that can be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
With the Hallie with the conversations with Kerry and Jenkin, Trish with Yimran, Dylan, I don't think we've seen that side to him apart from that one night where they had the chat in the garden after their party.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think Dylan's gone tomorrow. But I also wouldn't be shocked whatever happens. Unfortunately. All right. That is that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Aneesa, for not passing out during today's episode. We'll be back on Monday. Okay, so when I say
Monday,
we'll be back on Monday because this is going out the same night as the eviction. So when I say tomorrow, I meant today in like literally 4 hours. 4 hours time, we'll find out. Well, 5 hours, we'll find out. It'll be the end of the episode, so we'll find out by then who's evicted. We'll see you again on Monday where we'll discuss the eviction. Do we think the right person left? What do we think the impact of that eviction will have on the house? Do you have your own opinions on the house? Do you think that we're wrong about the eviction? Do you think it's going to go a different way? Who are you liking? Who are you disliking? Who do you want to see gone next week? Let us know in the comments. Remember. Go ahead.
As well, if there are any moments that you feel like we have missed, and that you would like to highlight, feel free to comment that below as well, because I'm sure there are moments that we have not mentioned.
I also just clocked the fact that we didn't have the banner running at all during this episode.
We did not.
So if you want to go follow us, go follow at the Cut Pod, Exothorpex Demonte on Twitter. If you want to purchase a cup mug, as Aneesa is demonstrating so beautifully, go to lanagcreations.etsy.com where you can purchase your own cup mug and join the tribe that purchases.
I don't think we have a fandom name yet, but
we need a fandom name.
We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
We the Cup Crew. I don't know. We'll work on it. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night or day.
Bye.
or evening or afternoon. Goodbye.
Whenever you're watching this.
Do, 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 do.